gives them a satisfaction they couldn't get any other way.
Hey there! Welcome, rogues! It is Monday, and it is a snowy Monday in many parts of the US. And we got snow yesterday. We didn't actually get any today, but yeah. Hi, Old Man Woat. I see your comment about hydration and also tasting wine at the same time. So maybe we'll learn about that. I know a little bit about this game. Welcome, Raining Rue. Good to see you. I'm hoping that you're cozy and warm wherever you are. It's been somewhat chilly here. Finally, like we're getting some winter, but about an hour before I go live, whenever I go live, I get really cold for some reason. So my fingers are a little chilly. Uh, but it is February 1st. We're starting a new game for Mystery Mischief Monday. I think Saturday I tweeted out and said I was going to play American Mickey's Alice, and I had it all set up and ready to go, and I just, it has so many content warnings. I was like, I'm going to save this for like more the horror season when people are expecting stuff like that. So I'm not going to play that today. Hi, Scribbler. Yes, so the soundtrack to this game is amazing. And I'm excited for that. I've been listening to it. I saw like a preview of the game or something a couple years ago and realized, hey, this would be a good one to play. Pre-stage chills. I think it just has something to do with the time of day that I'm going live and the distance between when I last ate and when I go live. Because I get chilly anyway if it's been a few hours since I ate something. So, but who knows? It could be pre-stage chills. I definitely never had that when I used to perform on stage in high school. So, but yeah, so Moobot was kind enough to drop in some information about the game. Straight from the website, Where the Water Tastes Like Wine is a bleak American folktale about traveling, sharing stories, and surviving manifest destiny. It was released in 2018, and as Scribbler mentioned, it has an amazing soundtrack. So I don't actually have the game open yet. I tested it earlier, and as soon as you open it, it basically jumps straight in. So I closed it, and we'll get to open it together. I will probably go ahead and just get started, unless you all have something in particular that you really want to chat about. I'm gonna switch us over to the game. Let's see. First, turn off the pretzel music. And then I will start up the game. You all may get to see my desktop. I don't know. This was being weird earlier about capturing my mouse. So we'll see. Full screen game. And you all can't see it. Oh. I think you should be able to see and hear the game.
Night has fallen and you're weary from travel. Stars fill the sky above, and in front of you is a brightly lit wooden house, the only building you've seen for days.
So let me know if it's too loud and I can adjust the game audio. I guess we will go to the house.
You walk toward the house, hearing the sounds of laughter and talk as you reach the door and push it open.
Enter.
You sit down and join the game. It's a cheap buy-in, and not many of the other players are very good.
Well, I'm not very good at card games, so let's look around.
The lady fiddling with dice gets good cards, but has no real strategy. The man to your right seems to just hold on to the highest cards he has, regardless of suit or any consideration of matches.
Okay, who else is here?
The man in gray across from you, though. He's good. He already had the largest pile of coins when you bought in, and while your winnings grow quickly, you can't quite catch him.
Also, can someone tell me if the captions are on and working? I turned them on, but forgot to check after I switched over to where I was actually talking. So, keep playing.
One by one, the other players leave the table, sometimes with pique or with wry humor, leaving their winnings with you or the man in gray.
Thank you, Death Star Taco. One by one, the other players leave the table, sometimes with pique or leaving their winnings with you or the man in gray. Okay. Somebody bet a feather?
Finally, it's just you and the man in gray. He looks at you, full of humor, and winks. Last hand?
I'm in.
He deals, you draw, and look at your hand. It's good. It's great. The best hand, in fact. A royal straight flush. Spades. Aces high.
Nothing can beat me.
But the man in gray pushes forward his whole pile. You're not sure exactly how much it is, but it's more than you've got. You can't match that.
My only option is to fold. Okay, I'm seeing a couple of issues on the stream. Let me... Couple of skipped frames. Wow. Quality is good. CPU's only like 5%. No dropped frames, but this is skipped frames. That is unusual. I'm gonna keep going and see if it continues. Yeah, it does not like the game and my camera at the same time. Interesting. If I get to a point where I can actually adjust game settings, I might reduce them a little bit.
The man in gray stops you. Now, if you like, I'll let you wager your word. I know you'll be good for it. Just promise you'll pay the debt, however I ask.
You have my word, or check the cards.
Yep. 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace. All spades.
Now my only option is to give him my word.
The man in gray smiles. All right, then. I'll call.
Show him. Sorry, I did not know there was going to be cutting. Or that he was a wolf. Although the cover kind of gives that away, but...
Well, your luck wasn't so good, was it? That's quite the hand, but not for the game we're playing. I'm afraid you owe me. Your life, sure, but more than that, your labor. You see, this land is built on stories. It's one big story, this country, woven of many small ones. Few of the small ones are strictly true, and the big story is mostly a lie. All the stories and songs and myths and legends start somewhere, with a seed. As they're told and retold and passed around, they grow and change to become the stories we know.
Okay, now that is a little bit loud for me. I'm going to adjust it down and hopefully let me know if it's too quiet for you now, but it was very loud to me.
To pay your debt to me, you'll be carrying stories, finding the seeds first and then spreading them, telling them onwards so they can begin gaining strength. This is no light task. Stories are heavy.
Yeah, stories are heavy.
Most of the stories you'll find will be small seeds. They might be true, but they'll grow wild and unbelievable with the telling.
You can barely hear it. Okay. Is that better for you?
The more important stories are the true ones, the ones people will tell you about their own lives. Those often get lost in the weaves of the big story. The more true stories you can find and tell, the more you can weave that truth into the big story. Tarnish it a bit perhaps, but isn't a dingy and battered truth better than a shining lie? Now, go ahead. You tell me a story. I'll trade you some information about your task.
Still no options. Nothing I can click on the left. 3 of staves, which is travel. Justice, choice, morality. Yeah, they appear to be tarot cards. That one's not an option, that one's not an option. The world, heaven, desires fulfilled, wishes come true. Wheel of Fortune, fortune, fate, and luck. And the Tower, death, change, endings, and moving on. So I guess I have to pick one of these cards. Travel, morality, desires fulfilled, luck, or change. If you all have thoughts, you're welcome to suggest one of the cards. Right now, I don't know enough. I think I'm gonna go with Wheel of Fortune. Tell the story of tossing a pair of bone dice on a blood red velvet table. They come up snake eyes and wink at you. Oh, I get to choose what story. Okay. Tell the story of the northbound train blinking its giant eye as it crawls through the night. Tell the story of the endless series of doors of different kinds, each leading only to more doors. Tell the story of the parting of a cloud of fog to reveal a brief glimpse of a land of promise and plenty. Tell the story of tossing a pair of bone dice on a blood-red velvet table. They come up snake eyes and wink at you. Or tell the story of a black and gray city where every building is filled with desiccated corpses. So I'm thinking either Justice or the Wheel of Fortune. Let's do this one. You tell this.
You sometimes have to make choices about what kind of story you're finding. Is it a love story or a tragedy? Don't gather too many of one kind, though. This grand story needs variety.
So I'm still showing that there are still issues and that I'm skipping frames. I'm not certain why that is happening. I also can't seem to get the game to give me an options screen where I can adjust graphical settings. So I'll push through a little bit more, see if I eventually get to a point where I can do that. The world looks like it has a surfboard. It does, kind of. Let's try this one. Parting of a cloud of fog.
Your deepest desires, your greatest wish, heaven? Big Rock Candy Mountain? El Dorado, the promised land, that place just over the ridge where they all say that the water tastes just like the sweetest wine.
Hey, that's the title of the game.
Well, I don't know where that is. It's supposed to be somewhere in this country. Ask the people you meet.
Okay.
They're all searching for the same thing.
Let's try the tower. The story of a black and gray city where every building is filled with desiccated corpses.
I'll strip away your flesh to make the journey easier, but still you'll feel pain. Hunger, weariness, thirst, and despair. They're all part of stories, the part not often told. And death, yes, but don't worry. As long as your task remains, you come back.
Seems like I can go to all of them. Northbound train blinking its giant eye as it crawls through the night.
Travel? That's your job. Wander from place to place, gather those stories and spread them. People get bored hearing the same stories over and over. But an old cliché in one state might be a rip-roaring new yarn in another.
Only one left.
It's just luck. Funny how bad luck seems to follow the folks who already have problems aplenty. Well, try your luck out there in this country. See how the dice treat you. It's not all bad. You'll have to work hard, but I'll give you the gift for seeing the true shapes of people. Not many who can do that. Go on your way, Seeker. Maybe we'll meet again, or maybe not. Either way, it'll be an experience for you. I'm jealous in some ways. I hope you find what you're looking for.
Options. Let's bump that down a little bit and see if that fixes the issues that were happening. Oh, no, that doesn't help with that. Okay. Hopefully bumping it down from fantastic to beautiful will get rid of the small glitches that we were having. Yeah, so how about... So I just adjusted the sound down for my headphones. Let me know if you're still hearing it at a good volume, because it was blowing out my ears. And I don't know the controls. Okay, looks like W, A, S, and D will move me around. The mouse is not doing got a little path that we could follow. It looks like there's maybe a village over there to the left, and a house behind us there. This is one of the songs you have on Spotify, Scribbler. Controls? Press Q to hitchhike. Movement is W, A, S, and D. Whistle with control. I for inventory. H for in-game help. M for a map. Spacebar to interact. It says the mouse will control the camera. And that I can recenter with the right button. We'll see. Because the mouse does not seem to be doing anything for me at all. Oh, okay. Your goal is to fulfill your obligation to the wolf by finding all 16 characters scattered over the US and trade stories with them until you earn their trust and finish their story. Left button and right button. Okay. Stories. By having adventures, you'll begin to collect stories. When you meet characters, they'll ask you for different types of stories. Tragic, hopeful, scary, thrilling, or funny. Remember what sort of adventure you had, and you'll know what type of story you got. Stories will grow and change as you tell them. Once you tell a story to a character, it will be out in the world, and you may encounter someone else who will tell you a better version of it. These better versions will be more entertaining when you tell them to characters, but be sure to tell different stories so that you have a chance to grow them all. The stories you get from characters are wildcards. They will fit any of the 5 categories. However, telling them will not cause them to grow, so use them sparingly as you're giving up a chance to spread other stories. If you want to swap around the stories you tell, you can do that in the inventory. Okay. There are several ways to travel across the US. The easiest is walking, but it's slow. You can speed up your walking pace by whistling. Hold down the button and match the notes to keep your spirits and speed up. Match the notes, okay. You can also hop a ride on a boxcar. This will get you exactly where you need to go, but runs the risk of getting injured by the railroad cops. To hop a ride, find a train yard. A safer way to travel is hitchhiking. Maybe in this time. To hitchhike, hold the hitchhike button while standing next to a road with cars on it. Not every car will stop, and they won't always carry you the full distance, but you will be safe. Finally, if you've got some cash, you can go to a city and ride the fast, safe passenger trains from place to place. It costs money, but is the best way to travel. Each time you meet a character, you'll have a night to talk with them and exchange stories. If you tell them the kind of stories they want, you'll gain their trust and move forward through their tale. However, there's no penalty for telling them a different story. You will still learn whatever they have to tell you. Okay? Characters have multiple chapters, and when you fully open the eye in the interface, the next time you meet them, you'll move on to their next chapter. When you've finished all the chapters, you won't see them again. Each time you finish a night with a character, they will move somewhere else. You can always check the map to see where they are, but they will also show you when they move. I understand some of this. The inventory holds the mementos you've collected from the characters you've met. Once a character trusts you fully, they'll give you something to remember them by, which can be used to travel to where you first met. The inventory screen also has tabs so you can see your stories, a timeline of your adventures, a map of the US, and your progress with each of the characters. Scribbler, I will see you later. Thank you for stopping by. Have fun with Dice Throne Adventures. Mouse is doing nothing. Here's the inventory. 0 of 237 stories gathered. Not much of a journey yet. Map. We are in far north Maine, it looks like. Yeah, just a few stories to find. A few characters to find. Toggle various things on and off. Okay. I'm gonna go all the way up here. Correct? Okay. Wow. I really wish I could control the camera, but the mouse does not do anything. Graphics are interesting. I know I bumped them down from fantastic to beautiful, but they seem a little strange. Alright, search.
This bungalow is being ransacked. There's furniture piled in the front yard, ammunition heaped under the mailbox, and a crowd of clean-cut men ripping apart a car in the driveway.
Strange.
The two heavily armed, mud-caked women leaning over the porch railing share the same bored grin. One shouts at you. "Lend a couple innocent gals a cigarette?"
So, Depression-era America? Yeah, sure, why not? We don't know that they're not good for us.
You are about to hand her a smoke when those men draw pistols and shove you hard into the dirt. "You know these girls?" they demand.
No.
Once they've dumped your bag out into the road, they decide you're harmless. "If you were selling booze too, you'd have a lot more cash," sneers one. On the porch behind him, the two bootleggers are fingering their empty rifles, grinning in disappointment.
New story. I have gathered one story. The Two of Pentacles? Wait. Star World Lovers. I don't know. Oh, there it is. Under the Emperor. Okay. That was the icon in the center on the interaction screen. The title of it is blinking in and out. I don't know why that is. Alright. Well, we got a story. You can see the border between USA and Canada. Whistling? Oh, Q is hitchhike. What was whistle? Controls? Q is hitchhike, control is whistle. It says the mouse should have controls, but the mouse does not have controls. Oh, I hit shift. Control. Okay, this is a little complicated. I have to do W, A, S, and D while holding control and use the arrow keys to hit the direction that the song wants. I'll get it. It just takes a little bit. Let's see what's here.
Off the road and into the woods, you can't help but come across this package by the old tree tied to a sturdy stick. The cloth wrapping conceals, though not particularly well, something large and softly unsettled. Little eyes blink back at you from inside the bundle.
Move on or say hello. I'm inclined to say hello. What do you all think? You too? Yeah. Let's see what's in this bundle.
The shape gives a start.
Please don't tell my pa that I'm in here.
It says in a small voice.
Why not? Or okay. Well, considering I don't know your pa, it's not likely that I'm going to tell him. But I'm going to say... okay.
Pa doesn't want to live with us anymore, but I want to go with him. Don't tell him, please. I'm hiding.
Do I look for his dad, or I won't tell? He's following his father. There is definitely a story there. I enjoy a little bit of mischief. I'm gonna say I won't tell.
You tell the boy you'll keep his secret. You don't see his father anywhere. You don't see another soul for miles.
Move on. The boy who ran away with his father. Supposedly I'm supposed to be able to equip stories. I don't understand how that works. That one should be... So that's the women. And that's the boy. Under the Queen of Cups. Oh, it's under active stories. I don't know why it's blinking like that. Well, we'll see. The music is very nice. Looks like we should maybe head to Portland. There seem to be a few things over there to pick up. Can I zoom in? That's as far as it'll go in. So they show up here, but not on the map. He whistles the main theme of the song that we're listening to.
They don't come every year, you know. The old man is sitting at the edge of a rotting old pier, crooked legs dangling over the water. He watches a pair of seagulls preen and groom each other on a rock just off the shore.
Watch the seagulls or ask why. I'm inclined to ask why.
Just when the fishing is going to be good. He taps great, black, thick globs of spent tobacco out of a huge ceramic pipe. I got another year, I guess.
So the gulls only come when the fishing's going to be good. One more year of what?
Another year of this town being here, he replies, letting a grin spread across his face. If the seagulls came, that means enough fish to keep it in place. Small town square with the poise of Betty Davis, a confident stride, and inimitable mannerisms elevating the sidewalk into a plush Hollywood carpet. And wrapped around her neck, a yellow velvet ribbon, bright as an ocean sunrise.
Ask around.
You question a well-dressed man parked outside an oyster house. Prudish woman. I took her on a fine date and she didn't remove so much as a ribbon. Excuse me, can you step back from the coupe? That's the spirit. You decide to seek a second opinion.
Ask around
You
again.
talk with a waitress smoking outside a diner. Something funny about her. Just showed up one day. Doesn't work, doesn't live anywhere as far as I know. Just around. Myself, I'd love to know who made all her beautiful clothes.
Approach the woman or ask around. Well, we seem to be rather outgoing. And the best place to get information is from the source. Let's approach the woman.
You ask the woman if you may join her at a public bench. You may. Lovely outside, isn't it? Her eyes are a beautiful shaded brown. Beneath the yellow ribbon, a thick, fibrous scar wraps around her throat. Weather like this, it reminds me of Paris.
Interesting. The elegant woman in the small town. Looks like we have a story here at the lighthouse.
You can see storm clouds on the horizon, and you don't relish the thought of being caught wandering this rocky seaside road in the rain. Fortunately, you find the lighthouse door open, with a daunting staircase before you.
Climb up.
At the top of an ornate wrought iron spiral, you're breathless and feeling the strain on your knees. Rain already batters the walls outside. You can only knock on a heavy wooden door leading into the upper level. Muffled voices and light seep in beneath the door.
Put your ear to the door.
Looks like we got a visitor. Sounds like a man's voice, deep and rough. Well, behave yourself. I'll open the door. Another man, this one with a higher, more sonorous voice. I always behave myself. He feigns indignation, but his tone betrays affection instead.
Wait.
After a moment, the door unlatches from the inside and opens. The man before you is tall and muscular, with a hint of a paunch beneath his wide chest. The heavy iron knob on the door looks nearly dainty in his huge hand. Didn't want to be out in this rain, did you? Come in.
Step inside.
Despite the rough exterior, this room looks like a well-appointed parlor. There's a rug on the well-trod wooden floor and an enormously plush couch. And sat upon it is a stocky fellow grinning through a great hazel-colored beard. Tea? He offers, hoisting a teapot.
Been here long, which has a sun, or it must be lonely up here, which continues this heart icon. I mean, there are two of them there, so probably not too lonely. Been here long?
A few years. The tall one sits on the sofa, wrapping his arm casually around the other lighthouse keeper. 5, says the smaller, but by no means small, man. That long? Time flies. We traveled together before that. You must have some good stories from the road, huh?
Well, I have some.
You wake up the next morning on their old sofa, still warm from an excess of tea. And cakes? There might have been little cakes. Prodigious snoring rumbles in from the floor above you, and you quietly take your leave.
Okay. I have little Z's above my head now, and I do not know why. Guessing it means I'm tired. We are now hitchhiking. Yeah, the story said we slept, but I have little Z's above my head that make me feel like I'm tired. I can enter Boston, where there's a little... Oh, I think that's this character. With the eyes, that symbol over there, I think that's indicating the character. Should I enter Boston or go and see that character? No suggestions? I'm gonna go and see the character then. Yeah. Quinn. Chapter
Hey
1.
there, stranger. You're welcome to enjoy this fire with me, if you're respectful, that is. This here is my spot, and I ain't inclined to share it with any bad characters. You can call me Quinn. These here are my venturing companions. Kaz is the big un, and the one with the spots is Flip. I usually beat my way on the rails, but the road news said this town was fat, and the weather was fine. So I'm taking in the sights and seeing what I can drum up. Hey, tell me a funny story. You seem like you still got a sense of humor.
Funny story. Here are all the stories you've collected so far. They are organized by subject because the boss likes the tarot cards. This is the subject of each story here. If you tell this person a story about love, for example, they will tell you something from their own life relating to the subject of love, poor things. So the subject is down there. As the night goes on, this icon will move left to right. When it reaches the right side, the night is over, and so is your storytelling. The person you're talking to will usually tell you where they'll be next so you can find them again. If you tell them the types of stories they request, you'll gain their trust and the eye will open. When it opens fully, the next time you meet them, they'll open up more about their life. They'll remember this from conversation to conversation, so don't feel you need to open the eye all the way the first time you meet someone. Dance around. Get to know them. He asked for a funny story. That's a story of authority, the past and memories, the future, family, and sadness. So we don't currently have a funny story, but it's it has definitely told us that we do not have to give them the story that they ask for. I don't think authority. Memories. Future. The boy who ran away with his father. Elegant woman. Family or the future, maybe? Lighthouse keepers? Sure.
I don't get too much out of tales that are so cheerful. Not enough excitement for me.
You asked for something funny.
Well, I don't know a whole lot about the past, but they say there's an Injun grave around these parts. Say it's
Oh my.
haunted and full up with angry spirits.
It is set during a specific time period. So, Depression era, 1930s. I suppose some language would put it in that period.
I used to love hearing stories of cowboys and Injuns fighting it up. Would swap tales with the youngins. But, well, I suppose if someone shot me, I'd be pretty vengeful too. Hey, tell me one of those exciting stories.
Exciting. Authority. Future. Family. This one's kind of exciting. The boy who ran away following his father. Or the two women arrested. Let's do this one.
Well, that was something. You spin a good yarn.
Apparently that was exciting.
Authority, bosses and such. I ain't nobody's little Angelina, if that's what you're asking. I take care of myself and my dogs.
Bootlegging for the win! Hi, Melba! Thank you for the 150 bits!
I don't need no jocker looking out for me, so if you're offering, don't. Shoot, I thought I told you to be respectful. You want to keep enjoying my spot or not? Think about that.
I do not know what I did to offend you. You enjoyed the story and then assumed that I was offering to look after you. I'm very confused by that.
You got any happy stories?
Happy. Happy is what we don't have. Seagulls. Well, they did say that the seagulls indicated that there would be food and good fishing for the next year. This one specifically says the subject is sadness. But I can't tell the lighthouse one again. I already told it to him. But you are right, Raining Roo. I'm gonna tell the seagull story?
Now that's a happy story.
Apparently the seagull story is happy.
What's my future look like? I ain't looking for a traveling companion, if that's what you mean. I do fine by myself, so just stick to minding your own.
So we got credit for it being a happy story, but then he assumes we're asking about the future because that was the subject of the story. And I guess reacts to that in a certain way.
I want to hear a story about ghosts or murderers or something. Scary stuff.
Okay. So this one is the boy who ran away. This one is the woman who had the scar on her neck. I think this one, the story of the elegant woman who had the scar on her neck, would fit best with the request for a scary story.
Ain't life got enough tearjerkers in it without telling stories like that? Jeez.
Okay. Apparently that was not the right story.
Sad. Oh, so you think just 'cause I'm young, I gotta be sad, crying after my mama every night. I don't need you looking after me, so if you're offering, don't. And I thought I told you. What you really ought to be asking yourself is if you want to keep enjoying my spot or not. I'm in the mood for something real funny like.
I only have one more story. I don't think it's funny. The boy who ran away with his father.
That sure was a downer. Give me a good venture tale instead any day. My family. There ain't no way I'm gonna start jaw-flapping about those bastards. Judases, the lot of them. Enough said. Oh, heck. The night's over already. I sure enjoyed talking to you, but I gotta get on. I think I'll see what's happening up the road this way.
So he's gonna be in Southwest Pennsylvania next, it looks like. Pittsburgh area?
The tramping life suits me just fine. Every day is a venture. With things being so depressed, folks walk around like it's the end of everything good. But it ain't. Plenty nice things to see if you know where to look.
Apparently, Chapter 2 is available for that character. And we no longer have Z's above our head.
His smile creases his face like folds in dough. He gestures you inside the dilapidated structure and shouts over the sound of driving wheels.
You're welcome to sleep here. You don't want to rest by the river. Not in the evening. Insects.
Settled inside for a break?
Man shoves the broken door closed behind you. The mill is warm, and the air is heavy with the powder kicked up by your entrance. You realize how easy it would be to drift off on this pile of sacks to the loud but constant sound of the grinding wheels.
Fight the drowsiness gives us a story with that crown icon, or sleep gives us one with the sun icon. Yeah, the Z's above the head, I don't know. It could very well be Stamina Death Star. I'll sleep.
Pain sears your spine. Why did you sleep at this ridiculous angle? Your back complains from being draped over the millstone. That's good the mill is totally abandoned. Its works long ago disconnected, or your legs would have been pulverized. The man is gone. Oh. This is not a place to linger.
It's a creepy mill. Well, they didn't say that before I went in. Check this little church-shaped building and then go into Boston.
A dusty truck and a man on horseback pull up next to one another in front of the grocer. Suddenly, The driver and the rider, two wiry old men with identical haircuts, start shrieking at one another.
What's going on?
The man with the truck leaps into the street.
Brother!
He shouts. The one on the horse tumbles out of his saddle.
Brother!
He screams. They embrace in the road.
30 years!
Hollers the driver. The rider, tears streaming down over his face, corrects him.
No! 32!
My camera seems to have decided that it wants to freeze. Give me a moment. I'm going to attempt to fix it, because as you can see, I'm frozen. So, 1 second.
Gives them a satisfaction they couldn't get any other way.
Okay. It should be working again, I think. My camera is not really intended as a webcam in its initial creation. I'm currently using a GoPro 8, and the software to make it a webcam is still in beta on Windows, but it's what I have. So at some point I will upgrade from this to an actual webcam, but it's been working so far, and it just decided to freeze, which happens occasionally, and thankfully it did not take much to fix this time. You thought I had rolled a nat 20 in my sneak. Yeah, I just glanced over and I was like, oh, I'm not moving. So, okay. I wish I knew what... I'll have to investigate these skipped frames that it's saying. But, you missed me becoming a statue. My camera decided to freeze, so I've just fixed that. we also talked to Quinn, who I'll pull up the game again. I was just saying, like, the camera that I have is actually a GoPro, not designed as a webcam. And yeah, it'll freeze occasionally or just quit working occasionally. We met Quinn, who was a hobo child, apparently, and spent a night talking to him and exchanging stories. I have a camera that I've put on my list. I just haven't had the money to buy it yet. So that is one of the things that will eventually come. This has been functioning so far, and this is the first time it's happened during a stream. Usually once I get it going, it's fine. But so yeah, we're outside Boston and just gathering up what stories are here. Man with the truck leaps into the street. "Brother," he shouts. The one on the horse tumbles out of his saddle. "Brother," he screams. They embrace in the road. 30 years, hollers the driver. The rider, tears streaming down over his face, corrects him. "No, 32! Oh, wow!"
Everyone here is watching these two older men cry and hug one another in the middle of Main Street. Cars and wagons are backing up. People are yelling.
Take a photo of us.
The driver begs you. Starts hauling a tripod out of the bed of his truck.
Say cheese, or let's get out of the road first. We have a number of stories now under this sunshine. I'm gonna go with say cheese, I think.
The long-lost brothers pose in front of traffic, cry snot pouring out of their noses. As angry passerby wave you out of the road, each brother presses a coin into your hand. When the traffic disperses, you realize they overpaid you quite a shocking amount.
Hey, we got paid and we got a story. It is Mischief Monday, so yeah, my camera decided to get in on the mischief action. How are you all liking the game so far? Oh, the game audio seems a bit loud. I can adjust that. Bump down the volume a bit. Long overdue reunion, yes. I adjusted the volume down a little bit. Let me know if that's better or if I should go further. Enter Boston. Boston. Red brick, green trees, blue sky. In this weather, Boston is beautiful. That is, until you make your way deeper into the city and get lost among the cramped, winding, shadow-haunted old streets. You can explore. So money, love, and sleep. Explore, earn money, train station, and store. I think start with explore.
This city is like no other you've been to. Crooked streets splay out in a maze of narrow passages, no two alike. Soon, you find yourself in twilight, utterly lost. Bright light crests around one corner, a car approaching.
I can keep walking or hail the taxi cab. The taxi cab is going to cost money. We did just get paid. We definitely have one story with the crescent moon symbol. I think we've got 2 or maybe 3 with the sunshine symbol. we got paid.
Compelled by the cold and foreboding night, you don't question it as you drag your bones into the cab. But you realize immediately how strange the vehicle is. It's a sleek thing, like a shallow parabola gliding over the street.
Look at the
Where
driver.
to? He asks. You have to stop and think. Eventually, you name Boston Common, the only landmark you know in this town. He peels off silently. You feel the car move before you hear the engine.
Look out the window.
He takes you through ever odder streets, flanked by painfully clean, gleaming buildings and signage for businesses you don't recognize. Even the air seems different. It doesn't smell so sharply of gasoline and coal. Eventually, you come to a stop.
Did we get in a taxi cab from the future? And see the future as we were driving through town? Pay the
The
driver.
fare's in glowing numbers above his dashboard. It's much too high. Surely a mistake.
No charge.
He insists.
You look like you need a break.
And then you find yourself on the curb at Boston Common, under thick moonlight, in a city much as you'd left it before.
We definitely got in a taxi cab from the future. Glowing numbers above the dash. In the 1930s, the meter on a taxi cab would not have glowing numbers above the dash. Interesting. Earn money? You wander the streets of the city looking for a way to make some cash. I can panhandle or look for work. Well, let's see if somebody will pay us. Yeah, possibly electric. I'm not necessarily, though. I think somebody used to the cars of the 1930s would think that a car from like 1980 was silent. So entirely possible that it's an electric one and just makes no noise, but it did mention engine noise being heard, just that the car started moving before he heard it. So who knows? You wait outside a lumber warehouse for hours. You don't get there early enough for work in the warehouse, but trucks swing by every few minutes, picking up loads of fresh wood, and sometimes a few people from the street corner for a job elsewhere in the city. A battered pickup stops at the curb. There's only a few planks in the bed of the truck, and the cab is packed with teenagers. A young man with a bent cigarette drooping from his lip shouts to you, "Hey, want to make some cash?" Absolutely, or ask doing what? I have a suspicion that if we say doing what, we're not going to get paid at all. It's either say yes and go do whatever it is, or they'll find someone else. The door of the truck cab opens slowly, and the boys slide around to make room for you. You count them quick, 6 total. 2 of them crouched under the dashboard at the foot of the front passenger seat. There's something ominous about their sudden silence. The moment the truck pulls into the street, every single boy but the driver produces a switchblade of some sort. Everything is bare knees and shining knife blades. "Give us your money!" howls the driver, accelerating into the middle lane. "Oh, Ray-Faye, 200 bits, thank you!" apparently getting in without asking what I was going to get paid for was the wrong answer. Hi, Wraith Faye. How are you today? I'm excited because in 2 hours there's going to be more clear skies. Flea? You reach back for the door latch, and a second later you're landing hard in the middle of the street. The truck roars away, the boys' shocked faces crane back to look at you. A taxi nearly runs you over. Passerby jeer at you jeer as you limp to the curb. It could have been worse. They could have got our money. How much am I planning on shenanigans? I don't tend to do as much on other channels as I do on Eric's, so probably just 1,000. I also need to step it back a little bit. I went really hard at Christmas time and need a chance to recover. The coffers of bits are running low. So, I have to slow that down a little bit. But I will be there, and I will encourage others to shenan, and I will definitely throw some bits, but... What's at the store, I wonder? We still have our money. They didn't manage to steal our money. Hot apple cider. Oh, apparently clicking on it buys it. Was not expecting that. There may be shenanigans, possibly. So we have lost some money. And we're at half health, it looks like. So, we're in Boston. Let's have some clam chowder. So now we're out of money, but our health is all the way back up. Well, we can't take the train because we're out of money, so let's leave and see what else we can find. Alright, so in front of us is New Hampshire. Actually, that's the way we came from, isn't it? Let's continue down the road towards Connecticut, maybe? Woo! Spinny. I enjoy the shenanigans, Wraith Faye. It's a lot of fun. But it also takes commitment. The soundtrack for this game is amazing. They actually released the soundtrack as a CD, so if you want just the music, you can definitely get just the music. A lot of it is the same song, just in a lot of different musical styles, if I remember correctly. Because as you travel across the country, the musical style will change for the song. They started us off in like northern Maine, so we're getting some like East Coast America style music. I imagine if we get down to like New Orleans, we'll end up with something jazzy or bluesy. So we'll see. As you walk down the road, a black crow flutters down to land in your path. It looks at you, cocks its head, and speaks. Well, you've got a long, long road ahead, don't you? All these people to chase down, or so I hear. It laughs. I got some experience when it comes to chasing folks. I'll talk to a crow. Especially if it's talking to me. Tell me about it. Well, if you want, you could go find your friend again. Ask them more about their life. They might want better stories this time, though. It peers up at you. Didn't they tell you where you were headed next? Always talk to crows, yes. But hey, the world is full of people. Bet you could find another friend like that if you went looking around. There's more than one interesting person in this land for sure. It gives a gravelly laugh. That's what humans say anyway. And with that, it launches into the air and disappears. Inventory. Stories. I have 2 moon stories. I have the story of the seagulls and the fisherman near Portland, Maine, and the odd silent taxi cab in Boston. I'm going to make the odd silent taxi cab the active story. I still don't know why the text is blinking on that. That seems very odd to me. We've got Quinn's Adventures. We'll activate the 2 brothers who reconnected. Two women. Ooh, The Creepy Mill is a really good story. Alright. Corvids are friends. One of my Pathfinder characters has a raven named Topspin as a familiar. That is nice. I don't know how much they're pulling into it, but there are a lot of folklore type stories and a lot of like indigenous cultures that have stories about ravens and corvids being able to talk. And I don't just mean American indigenous stories, like indigenous Irish stories, I believe, also include some stories of blackbirds that sing and or that talk. Sometimes they will also, when they're calling, they sound very human. So that's probably the origin of where some of that comes from. But yeah, also they're birds, and I love birds. Death Star Taco, I'm not sure. I think that the graphics are just being weird. It's very strange. Like, this all looks somewhat like a painting, especially when you get out to the outer distance, but when I had it at the higher graphical settings, it wasn't that different. So if I go back to Fantastic, see, it's basically the same, and if I go into inventory with it set on Fantastic, they still blink. But also, you're right, they do have an eye on the story itself. So maybe as the story gets expanded upon and grows, it will stop blinking, but that seems a very strange stylistic choice. So yes. So Quinn is here in Pennsylvania. It looks like there's another character down here in Maryland. And then one in Virginia. There's a camping spot there, maybe. I'm not sure if that's what that means. Oh, it's a river crossing. There's another city here in New Jersey, it looks like. Alright, control. It's a lot of finger coordination. I feel like I'm playing a musical instrument. Okay, hold control. Oh, I hit the wrong key. But we made it to New York. Hello, New York. We don't have any money, but we've got full energy and full health. The air stinks of gasoline and trash, and you're boxed in by brick. But damn, there's something invigorating about that stink. God, you feel like there's an engine in your chest.
The engines belch black smoke as the ferry churns gray water into froth. A broad-shouldered figure leans out over the rail, eyeing the skyscrapers on the horizon. Nearby, a man and a woman speak in low, urgent voices. He takes her wrist gently. She is weeping softly.
Listen to the couple, or talk to the man. I think I'm gonna listen.
I wish you didn't have to go.
She says.
There's got to be work on some of those buildings going up.
His thumb skates over her pulse point.
I checked every day for a week. There ain't. I'll be back, though. Got your picture in my wallet, don't I? It's not forever.
I'm gonna be rude and keep listening.
Her words are split by a sob.
Might as well be. My parents didn't come to New York for this.
She leans against him, the wind tousling her hair. He pulls her to his chest.
I'm leaving because I gotta go. If there was another way...
They stand together, close, quiet, in the stiff breeze.
Couple parted by unemployment. Alright, I'm gonna try and earn money again. Hopefully I do better in New York than in Boston. You wander the streets of the city looking for a way to make some cash. Look for work. You join a crew of laborers waiting at a street corner. Soon, a truck pulls up and everyone jumps in the back. The job's good, one woman assures you. You ride a short way before the truck pulls up behind a factory. Everyone hops out and starts putting on heavy coats. What for? The whole factory is a vast, cold meat locker. You're shivering in only a few minutes. Dragging the carcasses around is hard work, but it only keeps you so warm. Soon, your hands are totally numb. Keep going. Oh, I hurt myself. You grit your teeth and keep working. By nightfall, you're shaking almost uncontrollably. You're paid a full day's wages, but it's hardly worth it. Oh, but my heart is full. It showed that it took away half a heart, but my heart is still full. I have full money, full heart, and full Z's. I think it's time to visit the train station. Ooh. I could go to Boston, DC, or Detroit. We definitely saw two characters down around DC. So I'm going to go there. Washington, D.C. It's hard to look at these shining buildings in the direct sunlight. You feel like an ant crawling among the tombs of giants. Away from the monuments, though, you find a city that's a little more human.
The mailman's uniform is dated and worn. He sits on the edge of the road, head in hands. He looks up as you approach.
Can you help?
Car clipped me. I think my legs... Well, I'd appreciate it if you could deliver this for me. He holds out a brown envelope.
Deliver the letter.
The letter's addressed to a James Gibson Sr., 120 J Street. But the city stymies you. The blocks run straight from I to K. You stop a man for directions, but he shakes his head and laughs. Someone's playing a joke on you.
There's no J Street.
So, it doesn't indicate what quadrant. DC is very, very difficult to navigate. And it is entirely possible that James Gibson Sr. lives at 120 J Street, and that the person who told him there is no J Street are both correct, depending on what quadrant of the city they're referring to. Because it doesn't indicate northeast, northwest, southeast, or southwest, and that is important in navigating DC. I'm going to keep looking.
Over here.
A woman in a brown coat overheard your question. She steers you down an alley. Someone's chalked a big orange J on one wall.
I thought Clovis was late. Go left up ahead. Old Man Gibson's the third on the right.
It's also entirely possible that J Street doesn't actually exist, and they've just created their own J Street? I don't know. It's 1930 Washington, D.C., which was a little before my time.
As you round the corner, the world changes. J Street is a place out of time. Like the city forgot an entire street a century ago and carried on around it, oblivious. Even the noise and bustle of D.C. can't penetrate this little pocket.
DC's roundabouts, yeah. I grew up outside of DC, and the first time I drove into DC on my own was in high school, and I drove up to go to a theater bookshop in DuPont Circle, and my experience of getting to the city, finding parking, and just navigating in the city was so bad that I basically never went back. Like, refused to drive in the city. I would drive up to the Springfield metro station and take the metro in. I did eventually learn to navigate from Winchester, Virginia, and drive Route 50 into DC to get to the Kennedy Center because I went to a theater school, so a lot of my friends were performing at the Kennedy Center at various times. And I performed there a couple times myself. So I learned how to drive into the city and get to the Kennedy Center and find parking and stuff like that. But to this day, I avoid driving in DC as much as possible. I don't live near enough to it where it's an issue at this point in time, but if I ever have something in DC, I would much prefer to drive up, leave my car in long-term parking at a metro station, and just use the train to get around town. So, I don't know. Is there a J Street? You just parked at New Carrollton and metroed in. That, yeah, I either park at... Well, it was Springfield when I was a kid, because that was closer to where I lived. But usually I just park at Vienna Metro and go in from there. And answer, there is no J Street because J doesn't exist in Latin. Interesting. I did not know that about DC streets. That it was just the letters in the Latin alphabet. I don't know. But there is a Black Lives Matter plaza. It's right outside the White House.
The man who answers is ancient and astute. He peers at the letter.
I think it's from my son. I don't see so well anymore. Will you read it to me?
You tear the letter open. It isn't good news.
Oh dear. Also, I Street is I Street, E-Y-E, because I is 1. Yeah, navigating DC is horrible. I was terrified of navigating cities because the first one I tried to navigate with DC was DC. And then I visited New York to go to Broadway, and I was like, what is this? This city makes sense. You can actually figure out where you're going. I have never driven in New York, but I could navigate the city just fine. And then I lived in Minneapolis for a number of years, and driving in Minneapolis was not an issue at all. Like, driving in Minneapolis, it's laid out on a grid system, and I was able to navigate. So, honestly, if you had to rank driving in major cities along the Eastern Seaboard, New York, Philly, Baltimore, DC, Boston. Baltimore's not bad. I've never driven in Philly or tried to navigate Philly. Boston, I agree. Boston is horrible. Especially when I was there last, when I was trying to navigate, everything was screwed up. The big dig had been happening. Everything was confused. I got in there, I rode in on a bus, and so I only had to navigate on foot, but the roads there just seemed very confusing. I'm going to tell him the truth, and we're going to get a sad story.
He fights it, but his face crumbles. Tears roll down his cheeks.
It's better to know. I've been waiting a long time for this.
His shaking hand takes the letter.
Thank you for telling me.
Move on. Well, we got a new story. So we are hurt, and we're out of money. Let's try and get some money. Panhandle or look for work? The last 2 times I chose look for work, and we got hurt for it. It's 1930. Let's join the panhandlers in DC, of which there are many even today. It starts to rain after only a few hours. You shuffle your setup backward into the shelter of a store awning. But the shop owners keep threatening to call the cops, and nobody's out here paying beggars in the rain anyway, god damn it. Wait it out or look for shelter. Well, we'll look for shelter. You pick your stuff up and start looking for a new doorway, but everywhere you go, everyone threatens to call the cops. What is it with this city and cops? When the rain finally stops, you open up your knapsack and discover you've been carrying around a gallon of rainwater. Shit. Well, that certainly didn't help us. I don't have any money, so I can't go to the store. I tried earning money. I didn't get any. I guess we'll leave. DC sure didn't treat us well. Looks like there's a campsite over there. Let's go for it. When it rains, it pours. That is a good speak attack, Death Star Taco.
My twin brother Paul and I always got into trouble, but we were good.
Oh, that reminds me. I reached out to the Meaning of Night, and there are 2 new emotes on the way. There is an emote for Chaos that will be coming, and the Speak Attack emote. So those 2, the Meaning of Night is working on those for us. So I don't know a time frame yet as to when they'll be done, but I have given designs to the Meaning of Night, and so looking forward to when those are ready. I also don't know, I think I'm near to the point. I don't remember when I hit affiliate. I think it was like mid-month of January. And I think I need to be affiliate for at least a month before I can upload without having to wait for a review period. So probably a couple of weeks at least before the new emotes are here, but I have requested them. Annapolis is great for learning to drive and parallel park, apparently. I learned to parallel park in the parking lot at my high school because my dad took me and showed me how to parallel park. I didn't use it much until I lived in Minneapolis. And I really had to learn to parallel park when trying to parallel park in the winter in Minneapolis, because you had to parallel park without hitting the cars and getting far enough over that you weren't in the lane of traffic while there was a giant mound of snow. So I got pretty good at it. I'm going to finish this night with this character, and then we will close out the stream.
We didn't do nothing to anybody until we left. Then we hurt a lot of people. Me, more so than Paul, because he didn't make it through. The march I was on, the bonus arm, it's less a bonus and more an acknowledgement of what I've had to suffer. Civilians will never understand.
Yeah, you definitely have to get your car positioned so that you're not either going to get plowed in or have it hit by a plow. But so what's weird is I miss the feeling of the air being so cold in February that my face hurts when I go outside, which seems like a weird thing, but I miss that. I miss being boiling hot once I get inside because I've got so many layers on and the heat is on full blast, and it being so cold outside that your eyelashes freeze and your face hurts. I miss that. 30 seconds to park or you get hit by the line of traffic behind you. That is terrifying to me. And yeah, I avoided parallel parking on a lot of main streets because of that. I would look for parking on a side street for some reason. Wraith Faye, yes. I would love to be where all of that snow is. We got snow yesterday, and I think... I don't know, we might get some more, but we were right on like the edge of the snow line here.
So anyway, tell me a funny story? You seem like you know a few good ones.
It's not like parallel parking is the devil. It's just parallel parking on a busy street when people are impatient behind you. That's what's not great. A funny story, he said. What is this one? The story of Quinn's adventures. The story of the women arrested. 2 lighthouse keepers or the creepy mill. Odd silent taxi cab or the seagulls. I don't think we really have funny stories. That's a happy story. Those are sad stories. think that's the best we got.
You know, the government told us to keep our chins up too, but I didn't believe them either.
I just realized what I just did. Oh. Lord Portico, I am so sorry that you have meeting number UG today. I'll be done with the stream here shortly, but I hope that I see you in a couple hours, or in an hour or so for Clear Skies over on Q Times. But thank you for dropping by. I just told a story of two brothers reuniting after 30 years apart to the character who lost his brother. And I wasn't paying attention, or I would not have done that. Oh dear.
My family. They were good to me. Ma and Pa, and to Paul, and to my sister Jessie. Some days I wish I could find Jessie again and have her help me. She always liked Paul best.
At least he didn't get mad at me.
Tell me a happy story. Something to make the world seem kind.
Okay. The story I just told you was like the happiest one that I had. Couple parted by unemployment. The Seagulls was happy. I want to try this. I want to tell the story of Quinn's adventures.
I liked that one.
Apparently that was
There's
good.
some hope left for you too, you know. Don't give it away too quickly. Travel. Well, this walk feels like a little bit of freedom now and again. The flowers along the road make for fine company. Know any good jokes? I'm not so good at telling them anymore.
Funny story then. Creepy Mill. Two Lighthouse Keepers. Seagulls. Odd Silent Taxi Cab. We've collected a lot of creepy and sad stories. Not a joke, but I'm gonna tell it. Characters' stories are like wild cards and will always work, but then you miss out on propagating. I see. Okay. I remember it said something like that, but I didn't really grasp what it meant. I don't think this is really a funny story, but we don't really have a funny story, so I'm gonna tell the story of the women bootleggers.
Oh, come on. That doesn't sound real.
Interesting.
Authority? The law? Well, I had a thought once, in the trenches. You and I, all of us, have the right to the pursuit of happiness. Can't say I've held the Declaration myself, but does it say anything about having a right to achieve happiness?
The pursuit of happiness, but the right to achieve.
Do you know any happy stories? Hopeful ones?
Hopeful and happy. The best I have left, I think, is the Seagulls. Hi, Sincerius! It's going pretty good. I'm playing this game for the first time and had a few tech issues, but it seems to be working good now. We've fully opened the eye, which means that we'll be on chapter 2 the next time we meet this character.
The future's the issue, ain't it? Great War leaves us nothing to go back to. Plucking up the hope and leaving us only with the vile and the unforgiven. Do you know any happy stories? Hopeful ones?
more happy. Raining Rue, you are correct. The lighthouse was also happy.
For a moment there, just a moment, I felt better about it all too.
I have really opened that eye.
The past doesn't even feel like it happened. It feels like it's happening in every moment, in every slumber. When memories come back to you, do they clutch at you, at your heart? There's the sun. I've got to go. I'm headed up the road this way.
Alright, so he's moving up to Northeast Maryland. But he'll want new stories the next time we see him, so I don't think we're ready to meet him again.
Things come and go when the terrors return. They'll never be able to pay back what they owe me, but I'll always keep at 'em. What about you? Is there something somebody owes you?
Well, I'm gonna heft my spade up upon my weary back. I'm gonna keep.
Alright. I'm going to call that for today. Oh, sad. I was hoping that I could keep that up and have the music.
That's right, stuck in my soul.
But I don't think it's going to let me. Nope. Oh well. We'll go back to some jazz. So yeah, I'm gonna say that's the end of it for today. I do have to go and eat dinner before Clear Skies comes on, and I think tonight we're having beef and broccoli, and then I made a chocolate cheesecake pie. So yeah, that'll be the rest of my evening today, and then I will be streaming for work on Wednesday at 2:30 Eastern, sharing more archives stuff, and then for sure we'll be playing games again on Saturday. I can't hear the music, but that's probably just me. Sorry. Yeah. It's too many controls. Saturday we'll be starting Ultima 2. How did you all like this game today? Do you want more of this next week? I'm thinking that maybe Monday I might rotate a couple of games. So do you want to see more of this game in the future? Or I'm not sure what I might do next week. It'll depend. But I would like to get a little bit more variety because I have a lot of games I want to play. So if between now and then I manage to take a look at it, I may do Star Trek 25th Anniversary in rotation on Monday. Also possibly some Stardew. Yeah, Orangitis, I've been on for 2 hours, so I am going to be ending and do a raid. Good. Death Star Taco, thank you for the feedback on that. And Wraith Faye, I will keep it in the mix, but this is Mystery Mischief Monday, so I won't know which game I'm going to play until Monday. I will decide on Monday which game I play. But I will prepare a couple of them. I've got one here called Spellbreak and Stardew Valley, and I'll have the Star Trek 25th Anniversary game, the point-and-click adventure, and we'll just throw them all in the mix, and however I feel on Monday, we'll play that game. Let me see who we're going to send you over to between now and when Q Times goes live. I've done a variety of people. Oh. What if we go and say hello to... Well, we'll see if they'll let me raid them. Let's go over to Black Girl Gamers. Looks like they're playing Tekken 7 right now. The Rogan number generator. Yes. It is Mystery Mischief Monday, so I'm planning to add some mystery to it. But yeah, go hang out with Black Girl Gamers, and I hope to see. Oh, it looks like they have raids blocked. So, how about let's go and say hi to Lisa. Lisa, it's a Smalls World, is a lovely smaller streamer. She is currently playing Dark Souls 3. I know that might not be for everybody, but hang out for the raid, say hello, and then you can go your merry way. And I hope to see a bunch of you over on Q Times later for Clear Skies. I'm doing 3 things at once while I'm trying to set this up. So definitely throw your hello daggers when you get over there, and say hello to Smalls. And thank you all for stopping by. Again, I'm live for a work stream on Wednesday at 2:30, and then I am live Saturday on this channel at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time for Ultima 2. And I hope I get to see you then.